Authorities believe more Australian species than initially thought may be vulnerable to the deadly strain of bird flu. As science and technology correspondent Brent O'Halloran reports, preparations for H5N1's likely arrival are increasing here.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
There is a steady stream of patients at this wildlife hospital south of Sydney. A koala with kidney issues, a wombat worse for wear after a fight, and birds with a range of ailments. The prognosis is positive for these ones, but there's a worry around a looming threat. 2 swabs test for a virus that's killed tens of thousands.
They would probably have very severe respiratory signs, often with a lot of fluid coming out of the nose and mouth.
Avian influenza, bird flu, specifically H5N1, strain 2.3.4.4b. It's different to the virus which infected Australian chicken farms, and it has devastated bird and sea mammal populations on every continent except ours.
The advice is, if it gets to Australia, we could see a wildlife massacre on the scale of the Black Summer bushfires.
Disease experts expect it could arrive here during spring. New outbreaks infecting new species overseas suggest the impact could be broader than first thought. This week, a teenager became the first person in Canada to contract bird flu, and a study revealed 7% of US dairy workers have been infected, as the virus impacts the dairy and pork industries there. And scientists have raised concerns it could mutate and combine with a seasonal flu.
So we are treating it as a really significant threat. We need to be exceptionally well prepared for the potential to infect a range of different species that we might not have seen previously.
That's on top of species already identified as vulnerable, including the black swan, Tasmanian devil, the Australian sea lion and little penguin.
So we could expect that many of our wildlife populations would be vulnerable to this virus.
Preparations are well underway. In this centre in Geelong, CSIRO scientists are testing hundreds of samples from animals and researching immune responses as part of work into potential treatments.
We know that our tests that we use here and that are disseminated across the state labs will pick up the virus so that we're able to detect it really quickly when it first arrives in Australia.
The federal government in October announced more than $100 million in extra funding for bird flu-related programs. Containing H5N1 here is unlikely to be straightforward. It won't simply be a matter of stopping spillover at one site. Authorities are likely to have to deal with multiple animals, bringing it into different parts of the country. Which is why surveillance is key. The University of Sydney Wildlife Hospital is one of the sites supported by Wildlife Health Australia, tracking animal health trends.
We have a chain of command where biosecurity would be, national biosecurity would be notified, state and at a state level, and they would contain the scene.
Australians are asked to report mass animal deaths, as fear of a possible H5N1 outbreak has led some animal clinics to refuse to treat any birds. Wildlife experts are calling for vigilance, not hysteria.
We've got emergency response plans and a coordination mechanism for bringing together the right expertise to respond effectively.
Plans which could soon be tested. Brent O'Halloran, Sky News.